Congressional felt the financial sting of the war first as active members answered the call to arms in Europe. Men joining the battle was tough enough on the struggling club, but the rationing of supplies that soon followed could have doomed Congressional to an early death. Times were desperate for the club as payments on principal for the new mortgage were rapidly approaching. The board authorized a search for a government lease to replace the income that was now lost. One was quickly secured whose terms were a lifesaver for the club. They provided $4,000 in monthly rent and restoration of the property at lease end. Congressional had now become Area F, and to Area F came men that the founders could have scarcely imagined. Like Lieutenant Colonel Dangerous Dan Fairbairn, who had spent over 30 years as Shanghai's chief of police, and who, it was said, had developed over 50 ways to kill a man with his bare hands. Hans Topp, second in command of Fairbairn, felt qualified to serve since spending his youth in the Far East among Manchurian bandits and Chinese outlaws. He gave a lot of attention to lethal self-defense. The course was converted into its new role as the training ground for the OSS. Barbed wire crisscrossed the fairways. A mock-up fuselage of a C-47 occupied the practice green in front of the clubhouse. Machine guns fired live rounds over the heads of trainees on the obstacle course. There were submachine gun and pistol ranges, test missiles were fired, and over 100 Quonset huts were erected to house the troops. Although it was no longer country club life, the hardships were made easier by the presence of the Gray Ladies, headed by Mrs. Lillian Payne and Geraldine Kilty. With other volunteers, they ran a canteen, arranged entertainment, provided sewing, reading materials, and even some flowers, all to remind the soldiers that there was life beyond the grimness.